we're moving on to writing. When it comes to writing, there are good rules to follow in writing and document structure. And a good writer knows how to follow these rules and follows these rules. An avant-garde, excellent writer knows how to break these rules. It's kind of like with graphic design. There's the principles, the CRAP principles, the contrast, repetition, alignment, and proximity. And a good visual designer uses those principles, but avant-garde artist, visual designer knows how to break those rules for effect. But you have to master the rules before you break them. So in academic writing, it's best to follow the rules. I'm not looking for something by James Joyce or Thomas Pynchon. I'm not looking for poetry. I'm looking for effective communication of information. Make it easy on your audience to assimilate the information that you're providing. Break it up and make it more digestible. Document structure is a key way to do this. Headings, introduction, body, paragraphs, conclusions. It's like digest. You break it up and make it more easily assimilated. There's a good formula to follow when it comes to writing. It goes like this. Tell me what you're going to tell me. That's your introduction. And provide a good thesis statement in that introduction. Say, this is what I'm about to write about. This is what this paper is on. This paper argues the following. Then tell me. That's the body of the writing. Then tell me what you told me. That's the conclusion. So tell me what you're going to tell me. Tell me what you told me. When a train of thought ends, start a new paragraph. When a set of ideas end, insert a subheading and move on to the next set of ideas. Don't just kind of run through a bunch of ideas. This, again, makes it easier on your audience to assimilate the information. Concision and passive voice. Now, I know that this, before I explain this, it probably sounds nitpicky. Why are we talking about this? This is an English class. There's a practical reason why I go over this stuff. The importance of concision in this class is pretty obvious. It's because, for one thing, the writing assignments are small, and we have a lot of material to cover, and deep, complicated topics to address. So you're given, for example, you're given blog assignments that are roughly a page and a half to 3 pages equivalent. You're expected to write a page and a half to 3 pages of substantive content, not a page and a half to 3 pages of empty words and sentences. So, and on a practical note, if I have to read 3 pages of writing that could have been summarized in 7 sentences, you're making it harder on me to get that information. And so that makes it less likely that I'm going to receive that information because of all the noise of the empty words and sentences interfering with the content. And if you've only written 7 sentences worth of content, then you really haven't completed the assignment, because it's a page and a half to 3 pages worth of writing that's expected. Active and passive voice. A way to make things more concise and more engaging is to use active voice as much as you can. What are active and passive voice? Well, passive voice is when you say the subject is done by the predicate. Essentially. And active voice is when you say the subject does the predicate. Examples would be, in passive voice, I am helped by him. And in active voice, he helps me. So active voice is more active, it's more engaging, but it's also more concise. There's nothing grammatically incorrect about passive voice, but again, it helps with concision and makes things more easily readable. Uh, and sometimes it's necessary to write in passive voice. I mean, sometimes it just sounds stupid if you write in active voice or strange. But again, master the rules before you break them. A simple way to remove passive voice is to go through your writing and look for conjugations of the verb to be. To be, is, are, was, were, and see if they're necessary. And by rewording it without the to be's, then you most likely have removed a good portion of the passive voice. And we're going to conclude with just some general pointers. These are available in the writing pointers document in the course content section on the course website. Make a checklist of every portion and sub-portion of the assignment and go through and check it off to see if you've done all of those things. With quotations, don't just throw quotations out without prefacing them. That's lazy. It breaks up the reading in a way that interferes with the flow, and it just sounds strange, and it's not very helpful. So incorporate the quotes into what you're writing. For example, say something like, Tavani counters this point by saying that, quote, with respect to information technology, users tend to, etc., end quote. Don't refer to concepts or technical terminology without defining or explaining them. And this includes the authors. Don't just name drop. Don't just concept drop. If you say, write something and conclude it and end it with, this is clearly a case of utilitarianism. I have no way of knowing that you know what you're talking about, that you know what utilitarianism is. Explain what it is and explain why this is utilitarianism. Just recognizing the names of concepts or the names of authors is not the point of what we're doing here. It's to engage in this material and to understand it and to think critically about it. Try to avoid contractions, slang, and informal language. Term papers usually require formal to semi-formal tone. And finally, read what you write out loud to yourself to see if it makes sense. I know some of us are better writers than others. Writing tends to come naturally to me, but I'm terrible at statistics. I had to study 4 times as much as everybody else in my statistics class to get into my doctoral program to get the B that I needed. So I empathize if you can't write well. There are things that don't come naturally to me. So if you have problems, have someone else proofread the work for you. Or if you do it well enough in advance, I will proofread something for you. Just send it to me, and I'll give you some pointers. You can also contact the Writing Center. I'm putting the URL up here on the screen. I believe it is also in the Writing Pointers document, and you could just Google UWM Writing Center, and you would get a link to it, I'm sure. So in summary, we talked about critical thought and analysis, how we define that. That's make a statement, provide a counter argument, respond to that counter argument, do that a sufficient number of times, and then draw a conclusion. We talked about the criteria for validity and soundness. We talked about necessary and sufficient conditions, went over a number of fallacies, and concluded with writing pointers, one of which was follow this basic format. Tell me what you're going to tell me. Tell me what you told me. I hope this was helpful to you. We have another lecture coming up on theories, and I look forward to interacting with you in the discussion boards. Thank you for listening.